Thank you. So we're going to continue with a song. It's known in Scotland and Ireland. I learned it from, I think I learned this from Sarah Gray, actually, who's an American folk singer who spent a considerable amount of time in Scotland. So there may be versions over here. I don't think I've ever heard any. But it's a very typical Celtic story about a strong young man who gets dissed by his girlfriend. So he pretends he doesn't really care, but then in the last verse he goes off and hides in the forest and cries his eyes out. She's done him wrong. Aww. It's called Loving Hannah.
The joy.
Oh yeah.
Scottish joy.
Hey, we invented Schadenfreude.
And so we hope that you'll sing along. We do a number of songs tonight that have some choruses, so you'll get the drift. There's a little refrain called Loving Hannah.
I went to church on Sunday, my true love passed me by. I knew her mind was changing by the roving of her eye, by the roving of her eye, roving of her eye. I knew her mind was changing by the roving of her eye. Oh, Hannah, loving Hannah, come give to me your hand. You swore if you should marry that I would be your man, that I would be your man, I would be your man. You swore if you should marry that I would be your man. My love is fair and proper, her fingers long and small, and she is quite good looking. That's the best of all. Aye, that's the best of all. That's the best of all. Yeah, she is quite good looking, and that's the best of all. I will go down to the water when everyone's asleep, and I'll think on loving Hannah, and then sit down and weep, and then sit down and weep, and then sit down and weep. I'll think of loving Hannah, and then sit down and weep. Thank you. Nice singing. So we were driving home from, we played the, I think it was the square dance up in Brooklyn.
No, this was from
Washington, D.C.
Was it? Oh, that's right, Washington,
Atlantic,
D.C. It's
right?
like Brooklyn, but further south.
Probably not.
And there was a weird, freaky snowstorm. I thought it was like late February or something, but it was a lot of snow, and it got quite funky on the road. And we were skiting around and sliding around. So when we finally got home, we were like, whew, that was close. So we had a bottle of Maker's Mark. We decided to celebrate our continuing existence by having a glass of the bourbon.
Well, the highway signs were warning us. Get off the highway. You know, we were
I
trying to get
turned
up.
back.
I turned back if I were you. Yes.
And Allan was saying, you know, the next sign is going to say, "Make peace with your maker."
That's right, Mintz.
Right. So that's why we went for the Maker's Mark.
Well, I didn't need much of an excuse.
The next sign says war drugs.
Right.
So we wrote a tune called Maker's Mark. These guys wrote a tune. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
we all did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were involved too.
Yeah,
We had
okay.
one note. Very
Is this note? Yeah, I wrote that one. And then we have Gundercuff, which is you guys wrote for somebody called.
Yeah, I wrote that for Gary Undercuffler.
Oh,
Hey, that's Gary. So nice to be. We've been together for how many years? 6.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first time we get to do a home concert. So.
Yeah.
It's relative.
We did try before, but weather got in our way.
Yeah.
Yes. And just in case, if you don't know why you're here or who you're seeing, we're Coracree. And we are two couples, and we like to do Appalachian and Celtic, and it's a little European music, but as you can tell, we also get our creative spirits going, and we like to write tunes. So this is one of a few of tunes we've written together, actually. So.
Didn't write the,
Set of
the
jigs.
last one's called Coffee.
Right.
Well, one
Because-
more thing about that Gundercuff
Yeah.
tune. It was Gary finally got an email account. This was back in the early 2000s, and so Bill wrote this tune. And the full name of the tune is Gundercuff.jig.
Okay, you ready, Sarah? Kick it off.
It's certainly not what I meant to play with it.
So we like to play for a lot of contra dances, and who goes contra dancing here? Yeah. If you don't know what it is, it's really fun. It's social community dancing. It's right nearby in the Commodore Barry Irish Center over on Emlyn Street. I knew it began with E.
What is everyone doing? You slow down on that one.
Oh, we don't slow down.
Oh, I
Contra
figured.
dancers. This is one of the great things about doing a concert is we get to play it the way we really want to do it.
But if you like this music, dancing to it is kind of almost even better. So check it out. So Sarah's got a really fun song to sing.
Yeah.
Bold Riley.
More joy for you.
More joy.
Bold Riley. So the woman in this song is saying goodbye to her sailor husband, partner, boyfriend, and it's so nice to be able to sing a shanty style song that's from the perspective of a woman. Doesn't often happen.
Just gonna stand up.
Okay, stand up with us. Come be with us.
Oh my God, you're so tall.
Sorry. The reason I sit is because of this right here. These E's and this.
Like, why are you so loud?
Maybe I'll sit. I'll sit.
No, you
Yeah, just do it. I can already tell it's too much.
Oh, the rain, it rains all day long. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. And the north wind blows fast and strong. Bold Riley, oh, has gone away. Goodbye, my sweetheart. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. Goodbye, my darling. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, has gone away. Well, they're outward bound for the Bengal Bay. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. So bend it, lads, it's a hell of a way. Bold Riley, oh, has gone away. Goodbye, my sweetheart. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. Goodbye, my darling. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, has gone So cheer up, Mary, don't be glum. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. Come White Stocking Day, you'll be sipping rum. Bold Riley, oh, has gone away. Goodbye, my sweetheart. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, bold Riley. Goodbye, my darling. Goodbye, my dear, oh. Bold Riley, oh, has gone away.
Little color on the situation.
Oh, much better.
It's a party.
Stage manager's falling down on his job.
So let's see, we've got a set of tunes here. The ones, is it Carr?
Carpathian?
tune, which is
Carpathian.
probably where my people came from. My grandfather told me he came from the Carpathian Mountains. In fact, when I'm down south and I'm playing my fiddle, sometimes people say, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from the mountains." Which ones? The Carpathian Mountains, of course. They don't know what to say.
Wood?
That works.
Wood?
Actually, I was down in North Carolina teaching at a fiddle workshop a few years ago, and it was interesting being down there, you know? And so another fiddler, African-American fiddler, was talking about where he'd learned to play his fiddle. Been in California and the East Coast and the West Coast and all these different places. Same sort of similar path that I had taken. I said, well, that's amazing, you know, because this music, it comes from the North, the South, the East, and the West. Isn't that right? He said, that's right, Jane. It comes from the North, the South, East, and the West. It's all folk music. It's from everywhere. And that's what we're celebrating today. So we're going to do these three tunes, the Carpathian tune, two tunes. And then the first tune is the Carpathian tune, which is a traditional tune that we know. And the second one's a tune I made up called Cold Mountain, which I made up after reading the book.
Is the bass too loud?
No.
Is it just right?
More bass in the motor? No.
Okay, cool.
Right, here we go. Very fun. Thank you.
Practiced our skills for that one.
Right.
I must congratulate you on your wonderful penmanship, because I can actually read this.
It's all Sarah. It's all Sarah.
Well, we're doing the moody hand now,
Let's see, where's my-
and later on we'll be doing
want the
cranky
banjo?
cranky ravens,
Oh, yeah.
but we'll get to that.
Okay, let's see. We're doing this in.
This is
I don't need the keyboard.
oh,
Is it A, G, or A?
are you doing the roly poly thing?
Oh no, we're doing
that's-
this in A.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fine.
this is in the key of A.
I'm scared, so
in
I'm
case
gonna
you're
put this down here.
Just pick the same.
That's my. Oh, that's it. Yeah, a very well-known fiddle tune called "Cluck Old Hen," which is usually played fast and nobody sings it. And, but Jane was thinking about it one day, and she realized it's not that really that good for the hen. In fact, she's being threatened with in the pot if she doesn't start producing, So and then she was doing a solo gig, which I think wasn't the first time you ever played a solo.
It was about 2.5 years ago, and all the years I've been playing, never played solo. And I realized I could play anything I wanted in any key and change anything I wanted. And I was like,
So
okay.
she slowed this down and put it into a minor modal key, and it's much more foreboding for the false-hearted chicken. It's a moody, broody
Still
hen
tuning
song.
though, 'cause it's a banjo.
It's not looking good for the chicken, so yeah, we're gonna tune the banjo for a while.
The chicken gets a reprieve until the banjo is tuned.
Do I have to tune to your?
You want me to give you a note?
Yeah.
You can't tune the jaw harp or the jaw. You must take the teeth out. So
It's better if it's in tune. I promise.
that's right. We tune. The old joke is we tune because we care, but actually we tune because you care. If you don't care, then we don't care.
So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Still got a tune.
It's the weather. It's,
Yeah.
blame it on the weather,
Suck.
man. Always blame it on the weather.
That's right. I'll buy you those fancy tuners as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
sing
good.
along. My old hen's a good old hen. She lays eggs for the railroad men. Sometimes 8, sometimes 10. That's enough for the railroad men. Whoa, cook old hen, cook and sing. Ain't laying eggs since late last spring. Cook old hen, cook and swallow. Ain't laying eggs since late last fall. My old hen, she won't do. She lays eggs and taters too. First time she cackled in the lot. Next time she cackled in my pot. Whoa, cook old hen, cook and sing. Ain't laying eggs since late last spring. Cook old hen, cook and we do have some CDs back there. We've got just a few of our Coracree recording that we did. Due to make another one, maybe sometime this year. We can gouge out some time together. It'd be really fun to do. And this is a song that's.
Ready?
No.
It's all in the back thing. I
remember-
hate gaudy instruments, but
Is on that CD? I think it is.
it is. But we.
Oh man, sorry guys.
So we've got a couple more for you for tonight, for the set, and then we're gonna have a little break. There's some yummies and goodies.
Yay, Anne.
Allan has got a CD of Scottish traditional songs out there, and I've got a few CDs of a CD of my own original tunes and songs. And there's stickers and there's download cards for the Coracree CD. So there's shopping. Are we happy about shopping? Is that joyful? No, it's good. Support the arts. Allan, why don't you tell them a lot about the song? Are you tuned to a tuner?
I was fine in tune until we started tuning. Jane wrote this tune. Was originally called something else. Dear Cliff's Retreat. Thank you. And the sign of a good tune is earworms. It sticks in your head and it's going round and round. And so I was reading a book of Scottish poetry, Northeast Scots poetry, working on my chops. So I didn't forget how to speak proper, you can. And, I found myself singing this poem by a woman called Marian Angus right off the page to this tune. It just fit like a glove. I think I changed 2 or 3 words just to make it scan nice. But so it's in Scots. I'm from the northeast of Scotland, where we speak what they call the Doric. And I actually finally found out what the hell that means, because I never understood that. Why are we Greek references? But apparently, the Edinburgh was according to the various English academics, was the centre of the best Scots English as she is spoke. And so that was the Ionian, or maybe it was the Athenian, I forget. I think it was the Ionian, and the linguistic definition of the rest of us, the hoi polloi, as they say in China or somewhere, was the Doric. So, quick primer on that, or primer. We pronounce WHF. So, where you going is far you gone, and what's happening is fit's gone on. So, fit, fa, fi, fu, and fo. You'll hear a lot of that in these songs, and it does tend to throw people off. This is I like this song because there's a thread of very Scottish humour in it, which is may not be obvious at all, but it's this woman called Mary Forbes, and she's sitting she's sitting weaving in her cottage with her son, or her adult son, who's a fiddle player, and he's playing the fiddle, and he's scraping away these really sad, lugubrious, slow airs, and she's sitting knitting. It's a terrible night outside. The trees are lashing against the windows, and the rain's coming in sideways, and the wind's coming blowing down the chimney. Like tonight, yeah. The wind's blowing down the chimney, and there's a line in it that said, the wind that sparks the peat, and it's a peat fire, so it's sparking up from the breeze down the chimney. Or chimbley, as they say in Scotland. And so he's playing these lugubrious airs, and she says, what the hell, what's wrong with you? Play something cheery, play a nice cheery air. A real wee heartsome tune, she says in the song. And he says, well, I'm thinking about work and counting sheep and all this stuff. She said, what are you thinking about? Actually, what he was thinking about was this young woman that he went dancing with in the summertime, in the long, clear nights of June. Because if you ever look at the map, Aberdeenshire, where I'm from, is way north of here. I don't know, probably 2,000 miles north. So it's pitch black in the winter time, and then in the summertime it never gets dark at all. So you kind of pay for it. So this would be, in February, the sun never ever gets up. In fact, when I first met Jen, she said, what time's sunrise? I said, I don't know, about 1:30. She said, well, what time's it get dark again? I said, well, about 3:30. So she's like, oh, okay. So she says, play these tunes, but yeah, he's thinking about this girl. The only thing you get to know about this woman is she had tawny shoes. She had beautiful, shiny black shoes, kind of like Bill. Here, always polishes his shoes. He shows me up, but
It's the Navy.
it's the Navy. It's the Navy.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Military
Coast
training.
Guard.
But so he's basically howling at the moon, thinking about this girl. But he's probably so shy that he never actually looked her in the face. All he could do was look at her feet. So he's thinking about her, and meanwhile his mother is doing her weaving or knitting, and she blesses the eerie night and the candlelight and the terrible weather that keeps her bairn at home, keeps her son where he should be, with his mother. Instead of running around chasing after young women with shiny shoes on and the like. So it's kind of a dry humor, but
Tell them my favorite line.
oh yes, the candlelight, the wind that sparks the peat, and a sleety rain on the window pane, like the patter o' birdies' feet. It rhymes, it
Betterdy. Can
scans,
everybody say Betterdy?
Betterdy.
Betterdy.
Yes, and there's a terrible joke about Scotsmen rolling their R's, but I'm not going to do it, so you do say it else.
One of them, this song always feels like a sing-along, but the words don't really repeat, so you'd be frustrated if you tried.
You can hum along.
You
though.
can hum
That's
along.
allowed.
It's a hum along.
It's a good tune. Get 2 nails.
Okay, I'm sorry. I do, and it's over here. Should have done that before I did the intro, but
Yeah,
it
huh?
sounded like it was in tune when I bought it.
Factory 2.
When I first met Allan, I was at college at Aberdeen University for my junior year abroad, and this is actually a true story. And so I finally called my parents. How are you doing? I said, "Oh, I met this really nice guy. He's really nice." They said, "What? You met a physician?" No, a musician.
And their hopes were dashed.
Well, I guess. I mean, they kind of grew all 4 of us to play music, so they got what they asked for.
Well, this was wicked.
My mom just celebrated her 90th birthday,
Mazel
and
tov.
my dad's 91, and they're doing great. Just like my mother called me the other day, Jana, we went to New York and we saw the opera. It was fabulous. Don Giovanni or whatever. It's like, wow.
Okay, I'm in tune. Let's do
Go,
it.
Mom. No, I'm not in tune. Right?
Mary Forbes, she weaves in the candlelight by the straw-stacked and the palm. And round her fingers slim, she twists the fleecy yarn. Oh, the candlelight, the wind that sparks the peats, and a sleety rain on the window pane, like the batter of birdies' feet. Well, Fitzday, you think on my bonny lad, will you fiddle on your knee? On the days I counted the lambs, miller by the bonny green links o' the dee. Oh, and the candlelight, the wind that sparks the peats, and a sleety rain on the window pane, like the patter of birdies' feet. Welcome play to me for Gary Rams, on a reel, we had some tune. But he minds when he danced in the Castleton, with a long clear night so June. Oh, the Castleton, the lass with the tawny shoe, that danced we him at the Castleton, by the silver light of the moon. Merry forms she weaves in the candlelights, a fiddle ablaze in the gloom, and the dowiest stairs in all the world hang of moon and moon and bloom. Oh, and merry blesses the candlelight, the watching flame, and the eerie night and the candlelight that keeps a midnight hymn. Now we're going to do a song called The Mist, which is Jane wrote. It's about a man chasing a cow with a stick in the mist.
Slightly longer first set, and then we're going to take a break. Is that okay, Ann? Yeah, we got two more.
And then we have the audio-visual component of
Yes.
the
There's a
Frankie.
film at 11.
So a few years ago, Jane and I had another band called Red Hen, and we came up with trying. You're always trying to figure out what it is you do so you can market yourself. So we came up with this new old time thing, which is a pretty spurious concept. But, what's old is new. What's new is old again, or something like that. But anyway, that was our byline with this band, Red Hen. And what was this? What? Well, you don't whisper amongst yourselves. So yeah, so people said, I remember, people said, you know, you guys don't really play old time because you write a lot of your own tunes and stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll show you old time. So I went on the ballad register and I got the third one published in the English language.
What's the ballad register?
It's, well, I'll get to that.
Okay,
Thanks. Ballad register was in England where you registered your ballads. And it was in London, and the main reason for that was that people would write scurrilous, libelous, and fake news. And
Because the ballads were the news.
but if you registered, then they could hunt you down. So you know you had to kind of stand behind what you said or implied. The very first one is Froggy Went a Courting, which is a spurious attack on the French, but scurrilous
Spurious.
attack.
Scurrilous.
That's what we're calling it. Anyway,
Good words.
maybe a metaphor, maybe a simile, I don't know, but we're having a dig there. Anyway, so this, I believe, is the third one that was published, which is around end of 1500s. It's about two guys getting drunk. Actually, it's a man and his servant, and they get completely shit-faced. So, but that's the word that sprung to mind. And they start hallucinating because they've been drinking so much. So it's a 500-year-old song, and it's not that different from these days. But so
Different from the rap songs,
from
right?
the rap songs, yeah.
Don't listen to the words too closely.
So yeah, there's a lot of drunkenness in this, and they keep telling the ridiculous things they see, and then they're like, "Dude, you're really, really stoked," or whatever the word is for drunk. Stoked. That's not right. Never mind. Baked. That's the word I was looking for. Dude,
Also
you're
not
baked.
drunk.
Dude, you're really baked.
Yeah. So we'll
You
do
can see
it.
how much he does that stuff.
Dude.
General, yeah, no, yeah, it's not in your
Dude, you're
lexicon.
baked.
No, it's not. But
That's all right.
I have a 23-year-old son, so I pick up some of that stuff.
So sing along. There's a little refrain.
Yes.
You'll pick it up.
You might know this one, but we do it wicked fast, so let's go for it. Martin said to his man, "Fine man, fine." Martin said to his man, "Who's the fool now?" Martin said to his man, "Fill now the cup and I the can." "Oh, thou hast well done, man. Who's the fool now?" I softly heave a tree, fine and fine. Softly heave a tree, who's the fool now? Softly heave a tree, 20 miles into the sea. Oh, thou hast well done, man. Who's the fool now? I saw the mouse chase the cat, fine and fine. I saw the mouse chase the cat, who's the fool now? Saw the mouse chase the cat, saw the cheese eat the rat. Oh, thou hast well done, man. Who's the fool now? I saw the man in the moon, fine and fine. I saw the man in the moon, who's the fool now? Saw the man in the moon, clogging up St. Peter's shoe. Oh, thou hast well done, man, who's the fool now? I saw the mouse, did the mouse, did the dog, did the cat, did the... What else is there? Oh, I know. I saw a maid milk a bull, fine and fine. I saw a maid milk a bull, who's the fool now? Saw a maid milk a bull, every stroke a bucket full. Oh, thou hast well done, man, who's the fool now? Martin said to his man, fine and fine. Martin said to his man, who's the fool now? Martin said to his man, fill thou the cup and I the can. Oh, thou hast well drunken man, who's the fool now? Thou hast well drunken man, who's the fool now? Here's a song that, well, Jane's the tune meister in our family, and I usually, well, not usually, but occasionally come up with words for tunes. And this was one where Jane wrote this tune, and I mentioned Red Hen before. The late lamented Linda Schrade was the other singer in that band, and Dave Kippeth, banjo meister extraordinaire. But Linda, she said, you know, this sounds kind of like a John Hartford song. It sounds like a riverboat song.
Oh, no, it sounded cool.
And then he said something about, you know, go way down the river. So I took that little idea, and I thought, well, I'm going to write a song about with no names in it, but it's the same old story of a guy lying through his teeth to get into bed with a young woman, and he's like, I'm heading off down the river, and I'll send for you when I get work. And a couple of years later, she's like, I'm not sure he's coming back. You know?
She knew.
But then she's like, well, you know, she couldn't leave because her mother was aged and she had to look after her. She says, well, when I get free, I'll go down, I'll find my true love down the river.
It's not him though. Someone else.
No, he's
Definitely not him.
He's not the one.
Mm-hmm. He's not
But
the one.
Linda, who looked like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth and had a beautiful mellifluous voice, and she's very sweet. And we were doing this song, and at the end of it, she sang. The last verse is, and so I was deceived, you promised just to gain my favor, but I'll be free someday, and I'll find my true love down the river. Which is nice, but it's sort of, you know, gentle, passive female voice. And Linda sang, but some I'll be free, and I'll, what's the line here? So you were deceived, I have to sing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be free someday, and I'll hunt you down, you lying bastard. That's known as the active female voice. So anyway, you can choose, you know, pick your whatever. So sing along. There is one name in this, the Delta Queen. You know, well,
Tell them the Delta Queen.
should I tell them the Delta Queen story?
So
You
I
can
will
tell the
You
Delta
tell it.
Queen.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Sarah Gowan.
we sang this at a concert, and of course there's always one in every crowd. Some guy corners me at the break, and he wants to tell me all about the Delta Queen, and he's coming up with statistics and which rivers it went up and down, and it didn't go up this one, it didn't go up. He's got me like practically pinned against the wall. Allan sees me from across the room, and he starts to head over this way, and I go, you should tell Allan. And left him there with Allan. So we now refer to that as Delta Queening. So.
Some kind of jiu-jitsu move she did on me. Next thing I knew, that I was being, you know, the cubic draft of the. So.
He knew a lot, though.
No good deed goes unpunished. So there you go.
Is that what they mean by being sent up the river?
Being
Going up
Delta
the big
Queen.
river, Delta Queen.
So thanks, sing along.
Yeah,
We'll
sing
see you
along.
after the break.
chorus is relentless in this one. Nice.
That's great.
Slick, huh?
The big ship Delta Queen, she spins her wheels and rolls